Right now.
National politics reporter for NBC News, Alex Seitzwald, who's out with a new piece entitled, Democrats are having a banner recruiting year, and it could cost them. In it, Alex looks at the example of what's happening in California. Last month, Republican Congressman Darrell Issa of California read the writing on the wall and announced he would not stand for re-election. Democrats cheered. Then they looked at the mess on half of their ballot, and as one party official put it, switched from champagne to vodka. We got rid of Issa. That's the good news. But that's also the bad news, because everyone and their mother is running on our side, said Ellen Montanari, who organizes weekly protests outside Issa's office and founded a group dedicated to flipping the district. Pick a competitive district anywhere in the country, and chances are you'll find more Democrats running than can comfortably fit on a debate stage. And Alex, I think we also saw that after the State of the Union with, was it 5 responses at least? I mean, on 5 different platforms?
Right, exactly. I think I lost track after 5. But this is a too much of a good thing problem, in a way, for Democrats. One of the #1 pieces of evidence that they point to why they think they're going to have a good November is this flood of strong candidates that they're getting. And that is great in a lot of ways. The downside of that is there are more strong candidates than there are competitive districts to go around, and you end up with a lot of strong Democrats running against each other. So they're going to spend money, they're going to ding each other up and in the primary. And then the really ugly part is in California, which is the central push of Democrats' path to retake the House. 7 seats there that Hillary Clinton won, currently held by Republicans. California has that jungle primary rule. So if there are so many Democrats in these races and they split the vote, you could end up with 2 Republicans on the ballot in November. That's happened before. It's cost them a seat in the past, and they are absolutely panicked about it, especially in Darrell Issa's seat.
Casey.
Alex, I'm curious what your reporting says about how the DCCC and some of the other kind of entrenched organizations are handling this wave of candidates. I've picked up on a level of frustration that kind of reflects the difficulties younger Democrats are having with Nancy Pelosi, other House leaders who are sort of refusing to budge from posts that they've held for a long time. There's a suggestion that their recruiting efforts may be making some of those same mistakes in that they are picking candidates who maybe have been part of the party apparatus for a long time, but don't necessarily represent a new generation. Are you picking up any of this as you've been reporting this out?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of these districts where there are first-time candidates with really interesting biographies who are motivated by Donald Trump. Maybe they march in a women's march, who are running only to then have a candidate who the DCCC has been trying to recruit for years finally come off the bench because it's such a good-looking year for Democrats. Everybody wants to run, and they're all smashing into each other. The risk for the DNC is they have to tread very lightly here. They know that any intervention will likely backfire, and it's already happened. There was a really competitive district in Colorado where one Democrat has publicly accused Steny Hoyer and the DCCC of trying to push him out of the race. There's other places where candidates have spoken publicly about this. So they have to tread very carefully. And interestingly, in my reporting, I found was some local groups are taking a more active role in trying to winnow these fields because they have a little bit more credibility on the ground, and they can, do a little bit more to cull candidates without being seen as the big heavies from Washington trying to keep people out of the race.
Alex, in your reporting, have you picked up anything in the sense of Democrats who have been on the scene for quite a while, who have run successfully for re-election, are now looking at multiple candidates running for open seats or against Republicans, and yet the older Democrats seem to be concerned a bit, maybe more than a bit, about the emphasis on identity politics of the younger Democrats running, figuring that they have no discipline and they're going to fracture the party with the different variations of identity politics.
Yeah, everyone is very careful about talking about this, of course, but there is a tension here between people who have been showing up at these local Democratic club meetings for years, maybe the only ones in these Republican districts, and now suddenly they're flooded with new energy, and that's great in a lot of ways. But they worry that some of these candidates are too progressive on Medicare for all. Almost every challenging Democrat supports Medicare for all, or at least makes noises towards it, or some of these identity politics issues that you're talking about there. And it's created a kind of interesting conundrum for progressives. I talked to the head of the Progressive Caucus. They have a new PAC that they're trying to step up engagement, and they don't know what to do because they have so many good candidates to choose from, so many candidates who agree with them on these issues that they themselves have an embarrassment of riches that they're a little bit flummoxed about.
All right, Alex Seitz-Wald, thank you very much. We'll look for your new piece on NBCnews.com. And coming up, we'll talk to the #2 Democrat in the Senate, Dick Durbin.